just a context before we get into the PowerPoints, I will email the PowerPoints out. There are two spreadsheet type documents that I'll also send out to you guys along with the digital copy of the agenda. So that's going to come to you if you want to watch a recording again, review the materials, that kind of thing. There will be time for a question and answer at the end. We're going to break this into two parts just so we have a break in about 55 or so minutes. If you need to get up, please do that. I mean, obviously. One other thing, and I'll reinforce this in the presentation, but I may not quite say it this way. The goal of accreditation is for us to improve. Our desire is to be transparent, honest, clear, open, while at the same time putting our best foot forward. Does that make sense? So we can be honest and truthful, but also be highly respectful and realizing that this visiting team is coming to evaluate us. And in a lot of ways, they're coming to help us. The questions they ask us are not ever going to be adversarial. They're wanting to verify things. And at the debrief, which I don't know if it's determined exactly who will be at the debrief meeting on the final morning, the Thursday, but they'll give us feedback on the visit, what they found, what they saw, what their recommendations are. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh man, people are coming on the campus and we're in trouble and maybe we didn't do something right or we can't answer a question or something like that. It's always fine to say if someone asks you a question, I'm not sure about the answer on that, or let me find out, or I don't have access to that information, but we can get the answer for you. So it's okay to be honest and upfront. Just be respectful. Let's not put a bad foot forward. Let's put our best foot forward. What I'd like to do, of course, is to go over all of the core compliance areas, and then there's some questions and tips that the visiting chair talked with Dr. Hill and Dr. Lloyd and I some weeks back. So we'll kind of end with that. So here's a breakdown of what we're doing. Greetings. That's step one. It's good to have you here, and thankful for your participation and support. We'll begin by looking what is the purpose of Project Management Institute Global Accreditation Center. Then we'll look at what to expect during the visit, and we'll carefully go over the agenda so we kind of have a layout. Then we'll look at all the compliance areas, the accreditation standards, and what we've written to in that. And then at the very end, the concluding item, we'll be reviewing some of the committee's questions and tips for us. Okay? So without any further delay, and I'll be real time sensitive, it's about 10 after 11, so I will bring us to a break, like I said, in about 45 or so minutes. So the purpose of Project Management Institute Global Accreditation Center, their purpose is stated on their website. And the purpose is in kind of two areas. It kind of describes who they are, what they do. A lot of the presentation, I'm going to be reading things either from the PowerPoint, and quite a bit of it's going to be things from the actual report. These are just some of the supporting documents for the report. So I can reference that during the question and answer time if you have some questions. But PMI says the Global Accreditation Center is the world's leading specialized accrediting body for project management and related degree programs, accrediting programs at the bachelor's, postgraduate, and doctoral levels offered within accredited institutions of higher education worldwide. The GAC is committed to fostering excellence and continuous improvement in academic degree programs related to the field of project management. So that kind of reinforces what I said just a minute ago. The goal of the accreditation is quality, is excellence, and continuous improvement. And that means I can guarantee you there's ways that we at Amberton can get better. That's part of the reason we're going through the process. We want to get better. And there's even ways we might do some things in an exemplary fashion or in an excellent way that we could contribute to PMI and to what the GAC is doing. So this is an opportunity for us to shine in areas that we do really well. It's an opportunity for us to get better in areas that we may not do as well or may have some improvement possible. So that should be exciting for us. Again, that's not an intimidation at all. Every school, in fact, the visiting team that's coming, kind of transitioning into what to expect on the visiting team. The visiting team, it's a peer process. So, in other words, the chair that's coming, the two other committee members that are coming, that they work and teach and facilitate project management at other universities. So it's a peer process. So it's not a formally trained attorney auditor that all they do is wear a black suit, carry a briefcase, and go find problems. That's not the people that are coming. Being an investment banker, I've seen those folks before, and it's almost like the Matrix, right? It's like there's a very interesting tone that they have. This is different. It's almost kind of like a SAC COC when they came for our reaffirmation or for the visits that they do. It's all peer reviewed. So the team coming, they've looked at our offsite document. They've made a few requests and inquiries of us that we've responded to. We did that late 2018 into 2019. Of course, our offsite report was accepted by the Board of Trustees to approve an on-site visit, and so that's what we're about to do.
Real quick,
yeah. That's a great question. Let me pick it up immediately after break. What I'll do is I can go into the document where they sent us their queries, and I think I shot some of that back out to people saying, hey, and some of them we'll talk about. Like one of them that they talked about, I think that we wrote quite a bit on is program mission, BBA, MBA program mission, and then how does program mission align with university mission? They want to see improvement, like how's the program improving? We do that some with use of results and assessments, so I'll elaborate on that. Some of it's clarification. Trying to think. As far as faculty credentials, there were no questions. I don't think there were. Curriculum, I don't think there were real questions. Some of the things that we had written about seemed more like the entire university, kind of like we would write to SAC. So we do an assessment process or we introduce new courses and programs, but the PMI said, as far as project management, and so our report, the original report was maybe a little bit broad, so we narrowed it down in that revised report. So that was the main stuff. There was nothing in it from the reviewers that said, whoa, you have a huge gap or vacancy, or, it was just more fine-tuning it would be, I guess, what I've described the report. So that was good. As you can see, tons and tons of support, a few thousand pages of support. Man, you're going to sleep good. Okay. So what to expect? The on-site team is coming Tuesday, October 15 through Thursday, October 17. When we go over the agenda here in just a minute, you're going to want to look at where your name is on here and which sections of compliance they're going to be asking about in those meetings or spaces. So we'll focus on it. Obviously, and just to be, again, explicitly clear, I am not going over the entire self-assessment report today. Way too long to do that. I'm certainly not going over all the supporting documents or artifacts. It would take much longer than 2 hours. It's not my goal. So I'm kind of hitting the tops of the mountains with this. I would say for Ron, Blair, mainly, and you guys, along with Dr. Burton and D'Artagnan, helped compose a lot of this, so you know some of the supporting docs that are behind it. I won't go into huge detail, but when the team comes, I'll shoot some documents out to you guys to review as program coordinators, just so we're all in the same space. I don't think that's highly relevant maybe for everyone to see how the three core areas of project management are aligned to every piece of our curriculum. Y'all might find that interesting in advising or a registrar or assessment, but the team's going to ask different groups kind of different aspect questions. So let's review and discuss the agenda. I think this will be helpful. This is a document here. It's just been tweaked a little bit. I think even Dr. Hill, this is tweaked a bit, which I'll mention just in one space just over the weekend. But let's look at this, and I'll kind of go through it quickly. So the team's arriving on or prior to day one. Let's just say that. So day 1 is October 15, which is a Tuesday. The team will arrive here on campus 8 a.m. The very first meeting they have will be with program chairs, department chair, and me. In that, I'm sure it's just going to be a general look at D1 through 7. So, and here's what they're going to do. This is what almost all the evaluation teams do. They're going to ask us different things. We're going to respond to it. Again, most of these PowerPoint slides are directly from the report, so it's the exact wording for the document they have, to the best of my knowledge. If they have follow-up questions, we'll answer those questions as respectfully and honestly as possible. It'll just be a refinement. They may ask this in this 8 o'clock meeting, they may ask some questions. In the next meeting with Dr. Hill and I, they may ask more clarifying questions. It's a process of them finding and figuring out how to evaluate our programs in our institution. So sometimes one question may lead to 2 or 3 more, and the next day they may ask follow-up questions because, remember, they're going to be meeting separately themselves. So it's just a refining, sifting process through the material. Some of it they're going to want to see the artifacts or see faculty files or see things. That's all normal. So those things will already be assembled for them ready. We'll have a resource room for the visiting team. So I'm going to go through this quicker now. 8 a.m. is 1 through 7. 9:30, Dr. Hill and I, again, 1 through 7. 10 a.m., I'm going to walk them on a campus tour here in Garland, showing them and introducing them to all of our wonderful folks. And Frisco is not off the hook because we're going to be coming to Frisco a bit later. Then at 11 a.m. will be curriculum overview, which is D2 and D7. That's with program director and faculty. There'll be a noon lunch. 1 p.m. curriculum overview continued. And again, like I said, there's probably going to be follow-up questions, ongoing thoughts that they have. 3 p.m. they will have a closed work session with the visiting team. And then at 5 p.m. they'll do a wrap-up and/or observation, which this will just be a wrap-up on D2 and D5. There'll be transportation. I believe that I'll be escorting or assisting the team to come out to Frisco for a visit just so they're able to see the campus. And we'll try to get there, traffic pending, where they can see things in action. The next day, day 2, October 16, they'll arrive at 8 a.m., continue curriculum overview. Now, let me pause. If everything is solved and answered in day 1, this is a draft or flexible schedule. So it doesn't automatically mean for 2 hours on day 2, they're looking at D2 and D7. They may have answered all their questions by that point. They may need more time than that to talk to us or ask questions. That's fine. Non-traditional instruction delivery at 10 a.m. Again, the project management faculty will be key center on this. So when you see your name here, you need to be on campus at a minimum for all of that. I'm going to be here the entire time trying to field questions or clarify things. 11 a.m. they'll have their closed work session. At noon, there'll be faculty panel and work, and that's D1 through 7, probably anything that's still left to be discussed. At 1:30, I'd have to look at my roster. There's already a group of about half a dozen plus current students that are going to be coming. So if you're part of student support, this is going to involve quite a few people. Karen, Hannah, Anna, Hadari, Dr. Root, Monique, Jamie Quinn, maybe even others. They're going to want to have just a panel looking at D5. So when I get to D5 in the presentation, and I've just basically extracted from the report different parts on D5 so you know the wording we used or the phraseology for support. At 2:30, about half a dozen alumni currently have been assembled that are going to come. 3:30, current students will come. They'll be looking at D2, 3, and 7 with both those groups. Day 5 will do a wrap-up if there's any other things to look at. This is the change. Dr. Ellen, we talked on the phone about it. There technically is not a 60-35 lecture course on Garland on Wednesday night, but there will be that night. And so I've already asked I don't know, half a dozen to 8 or so project management students that are going to be here to come do a mock class with me in research, which we'll just, and I'm teaching research, so these are some of my lecture students. We're going to talk about their lit review projects with project management emphasis and yada yada. So the team can watch us for 30 minutes and see it. So they won't be here Saturday to come out to Frisco and see me lecture that class. So we're moving a few of those students here for a mock class so they can see it live. That's fine. Then the team goes back to deliberate that evening and has dinner. The next morning, 8 a.m., the team comes together. They finish up their report and get ready for the oral debrief with us. At 10:30, they'll go ahead and do the oral debrief, and then have a closed working lunch, and then they'll provide to us at 1 p.m. the findings, etc., of their visit. Now, I don't know, this as a question you may have, and Dr. Hill, you help me if you know more on this than I do. I do not know, or I would not think that the team will tell us on that morning, oh, you passed, you're fully accredited, you're done, because they write reports and it goes back to the accrediting body, and then there'll be something more official, a letter of sorts and whatnot, that'll tell us if we're accredited or not. It's a bit more official. They're going to probably give us some indications, like, wow, you guys did really good, or here's some things that may need to be worked on, those kind of things. So that's the point we're all focusing on, is that final report from them to see what their thoughts are about it. Are there any questions so far? We're moving at a very good speed here. Okay, let's move forward. These are the accreditation standards. So D1, program mission. D2, curricula and core area of focus for program learning outcomes. D3, program information in the public domain. After we finish looking at D3, we're going to take a break, so that'll be about 30 minutes. Then we'll get back to D4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, faculty, staff, students, financial resource, and program improvement. Now I'm going to read these to you, but I'm going to send the PowerPoint also. I know this is faux pas to have so many words in the PowerPoint, but I didn't want to have 200 slides. So these are the program missions as stated in the report under D1. So the BBA project management mission is to prepare students for entry level, and I put some of these in colors so we really are all together. The BBA is for entry level position in business administration and project management that require a broad competency of the management level skill needed to add value, drive business performance, and build quality project management practices within modern organizations. The BBA project management is a study of business administration and project management that provides students with, again, capability to apply management level project management tools and techniques. So this is, a person will get a BBA for entry level, foundational, up into management level, and if they want more clarification, probably lower to mid-level management from a BBA is fine. It depends on the industry, or it depends on what they're doing, but we want to clearly distinguish the difference between BBA and what its purpose and mission is, and then what the MBA is. It's two different degrees, two different focuses, two different levels of rigor, coherence, et cetera, et cetera. So graduates of the BBA are prepared in business management, project management areas that are applied for effective management of enterprise projects, including, this goes right to the title of many of these courses in the BBA, project scope, quality, risk, time, cost, communication, human resource, integration, and procurement management. So it's basically, you have a catalog right there of the core focus of the BBA. That's what it looks at for those students. Difference, because this is a different program. The graduate level MBA program in project management, its mission is ideal for individuals who want to, again, clarification, enhance their ability to successfully manage complex projects. A little bit more dynamic, a little bit elevated here. Grounded in general management principle, the MBA in project management is a study of project management that provides students with the capability to master advanced project management techniques. So, a student in the MBA, they certainly will have to know the PMBOK. They will certainly have to know what project management is, and that's what the foundations and some of the other courses are. But they get right on it up into more application, more dynamic, difficult mastery leadership, as you'll see. So the curriculum offered in classroom, lecture, and distance models focuses on contemporary project management theories and practice. The students acquire knowledge of project management tools, techniques, and processes necessary to effectively initiate, plan, execute, control, and close organizational projects and succeed as project management practitioners. The mission of the program is to provide students with competency and relevant project management knowledge, skills, and techniques necessary to succeed as practitioners in a global economy. The MBA project management graduates are, again, clarification, are prepared to fill project management and leadership roles in modern organizations. So this would be certainly management. A person could even be an executive level person getting their MBA project management. Definitely, yeah. Now, a good thing that's relevant to us at the moment, PMI GAC also accredits doctoral level. So if we ever get to a PhD level in project management, that's fine. They also accredit that, which would be even a step up. That would be probably contributing to the literature, et cetera, et cetera. Would they have to go back to that? Well, once we're accredited is a good question, and I'm sure it's going to come up in the Q&A in a minute. Our MS Agile currently now has the amount of time and graduates, but we need to first be accredited before we ask for an additional program, whether it's a bachelor or master's program or if it's the step up. There's intervals that we can request it. And I wouldn't say it's any easier to get a program accredited once your institution is already, but a lot of the things about do we have a campus and do we have a library and do we have support staff, all that's pretty much been answered. That they're really looking at the program itself. Is the curriculum, do you have enough faculty that are qualified as the curriculum, that kind of thing. Yeah. Good question. So here's a couple things. And D1's not super lengthy. I think there's 3 or 4 subpoints in the report. But there's places in the report where we want to distinguish the 2 programs themselves and their mission statements. But then we also want to go back and align the mission of each of the programs to the mission of the university. They need to be congruent. We don't want incongruence in there. So the alignment of program missions to the university, this is directly out of the report. You probably already know this. If you don't, you need to. The mission statement of the university is composed of 5 brief paragraphs revealing commitment to 5 specific objectives. 1, education of the mature adult. 2, commitment to Christian education based on Christian values. 3, commitment to academic quality in all academic programs. 4, commitment to education relevancy and its courses and programs, which we think obviously project management fits that. When especially in 5, a commitment to employ the most advanced educational methodologies available for subjects being taught, which, again, we feel like we meet at least a minimum threshold there. So that's what the university is attempting to do. We believe the project management missions align with it. So this is additional. I didn't put the whole report here because there's multiple paragraphs. I'm hitting the high points again. So how are the programs specifically aligning? Well, the alignment of the broader mission of Amberton University to the more specific program missions of the BBA and MBA are seamless. The students within both of these important academic programs are working adults in dozens of industries across the country and even in other countries. Now, in the report, a little bit further down, there's some supporting evidence that shows just how many industries are represented and how many students within those industries, where our student population is located over a period of time. So it's not just a statement, there's evidence to support the statement. Both project management programs are business-oriented, easily situated in the business division. The unified goals of the university at large and the specific BBA, MBA programs meet educational needs of practitioners in the field or in the profession. We feel that way when they talk to our current students and alumni. I think that they'll hear from those students about that. So that's where there's some alignment and congruence. Now, here's another aspect in D1. Not only do we want the programs to be distinguished, but we also want alignment with the university mission. But then also, and this is obviously while we're going through the accreditation, the GAC has core areas that we need to align with. if it was just about programs and institutions that align with the university's mission, everyone could be accredited. Does that make sense? So for global accreditation with project management, we've had to hone in how exactly are we meeting with these programs the core areas that they look at, which they have 3. The first column is our program learning outcomes, which Dr. Howdeshell is the Jedi Master of all things assessment, and the PLOs we know much. And the PLOs are actually revised for this project and improved. So that us going through the accreditation helped us improve the wording of our PLOs for the program. But we want to correspond with the 3 areas of focus, which are technical expertise, professional behavior, and strategic awareness. That's what GAC says our programs need to align. That makes sense? People get tired of listening to me? Not quite. Okay, good. I'll keep going. I'm talking really fast. It's all right. Got about 20 minutes until I can take a sip of water. Let's look at the PLOs, the rows going across. The first one is describe project management as well as differences and similarities to traditional business structure. Well, professional behavior and strategic awareness, that's what they address of the 3 core areas. Number 2, apply knowledge. This is the BBA now. Apply knowledge areas is presented in PMI. So the application is going to hit all 3, obviously. PLO number 3, explain project life cycle and the interaction among various project phases, technical expertise and strategic awareness. Number 4, assess project leadership and project communication, professional behavior, strategic awareness. Number 5, construct appropriate project documentation, again, expertise and professional behavior. Number 6, define relevant ethical issues, professional behavior, strategic awareness. Now, again, this is concise. The report, especially as we get into D2, the report gets very long with many tables. In fact, what Ron Blair and the team did, they went into, I think, every one of the courses, and we looked at the competencies of the courses and mapped the competencies of all the required courses actually to the 3 core areas, so those tables are, I don't know, 80 rows long. We're not going to go through that today. But it's very granular, very detailed, much support in there. So I'm just telling y'all this is the cliff notes on what's involved. I don't know, but I don't think the visiting team is going to get into the weeds with that and say, okay, we want to look at these 20 competencies and we want to look at, because we have descriptions and examples of students' work, from written papers, case studies, projects, discussion boards, examinations. I mean, there's tons of support for how program alignment of mission to core area is taking place. And so they're going to look at that. They want to see it. Quickly, let's look at the MBA. So how does the MBA, now you're going to notice the wording on the MBA PLOs is more advanced than it should be. Number 1, analyze and apply project management processes of initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing relevant to project management. So that's all 3. 2, write and orally communicate project management documents and information clearly and concisely. Again, all 3. And by the way, just for those of us in the room, what do you think is harder for a student to do on that? For them to communicate clearly or concisely? Our research class has just turned in a 2-page written assignment that really would be pretty easy to do if it was 4 or 5 pages, but it's really hard in 2. So teaching students, and obviously these are project managers that are going to be writing reports and helping make decisions and give inputs, as Ron and Blair know, being the project managers in the room. Sometimes you have 2 minutes to convey the idea to the leadership from the project management space. You don't have 30 minutes. You got to get it to the point and make it clear. So I believe some of our students, because I've had them in class as well, I think they're going to really help us shine in that area, that we help them critically think how to be concise and clear. Number 3, integrate and apply project management tools and techniques to projects within organizations, and this is all 3. Now let me pause here, and this is important for us to know, and I know we talked about it to the visiting team, Dr. Hill. Our BBA and MBA require students to take courses that are not just project management courses. Does that make sense? So there's a core or specialty in project management. The faculty that are going to be on campus when the team is here are the people teaching the core courses. In the report, especially with thinking about like the MBA, the 36-hour MBA, Dr. Tidwell, myself, Adam Guerrero, other people teach strategic management, a required course in that. Leadership courses, other research methods and ethics. There's faculty that teach those courses that are required courses in the program, but those faculty may have other students and other programs in those courses. And this is normal for universities. But when we talk about students are doing certain things, and the reason I pointed out on number 3 and 4, project management specific, where are we having students do application of project management? Obviously in the core, at times they could do some of that in strategic management or other courses, but it's more limited. Strategic management is not going to have the whole entire class do a project management focused assignment, because there's students from other MBAs in that class. Same thing with research methods or whatever. Does that help us a little bit? Yeah. So, and again, just so Hannah's not wondering, like, why am I here? This is all things I don't really deal with. It may be, definitely, if the visiting team wants to talk to you as registrar, hey, you know, we're looking at how these programs and courses line up. Tell us about it. Well, those core courses are all taught by project management professionals and people with PhDs and credentials in that area. Some of the other courses a student may take may be courses offered or required for multiple grad programs, even outside project management space. So it's good for us to understand kind of our framework. We're not well, I should clarify. Our HRM, our new HRM program has no electives. It's a lockdown program. Everything else allows students with electives to take other courses, meaning that student could, well, they would have to complete their degree selecting courses that we offer. So, you know, when the team comes up, they're like, hey, we want to talk to anyone that teaches a course that matriculates a student for a degree, for MBA project management. Well, that's going to be a lot of faculty because they could choose. I was a student here and took an elective, a couple electives, I think, in counseling, right? So, you know, does Lee Paul need to be here for project management? I don't know. We taught lifespan. I took it as an MBA. So, you know, we just want to make sure the visiting team, we clarify for them, projects are integrated, but as Dr. Howdeshell knows in our assessment process, we're honing in when we say we've integrated applied project management tools and techniques. That's almost going to be isolated to those required courses that are project management courses. In leadership theories or if in conflict resolution, there's students in there that are going to be maybe from other programs too. So it's a mixed situation. As y'all know from the degrees you've earned, some universities have very isolated departments, faculty, and programs. We are much more integrated than that. There's students from multiple places coming together. Yeah, question?
Just out of curiosity, you said that about every requirement
Well, it's ones that we require. We're the So as the university, we state what courses are required to fulfill an academic program, and even for coherence, why we feel like those 12 classes in the 36-hour MBA. Why are those 12 classes the ones students need to take to be a good project manager? Well, we have our argument and rationale for that. I mean, we make it to, I remember when SAC COC came, I think I wrote at least 2, 3, 4 pages per program to articulate, here's why MBA project management, here's why it includes the content that it does. And so this is why we feel like we're supporting, needing a student in that program to succeed. So this collection of courses, and even the electives we allow them, that's going to make a well-rounded person based on, we compare it to other universities too. Yeah. And we'll find, and I think this was presented last year maybe, we'll find quite a few of the GAC schools or ACBSP schools as well, which a lot of them have this core or basic courses, BBA or MBA, and then you choose your specialty, like your focus hours. And so it's not uncommon, and tons of schools have electives. So the visiting team is not going to come and think every teacher that teaches every course for project management is here for us to talk to. That would involve too many people. But on the turn the coin over, this is why I'm kind of elaborating on this point. For some of the support staff that are here, advisors, assessment, I think Karen's in enough of the faculty monthly meetings and that kind of thing. You certainly understand. But I'm trying to think, if I was in Hannah's shoes or Anna's shoes or others that aren't in the faculty meetings all the time, we don't want anyone to get caught up and be like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure on that. Well, it's okay the way we offer the programs the way we do, but if they ask a question to support staff, hey, how much alignment is there on strategic awareness based on your learning outcomes? Well, here's where these are at. Most of the time, that data is collected from the project management specific courses. It's not often going to be picked up in research methods or ethics or some of those broader courses. It could be. And then this next one, number 5, and it's also, as we saw in the BBA, demonstrated knowledge of ethical issues and applied decision-making skills. Now, the RGS 6036 ethics course, certainly we could draw some ethical support on learning outcome from that, but I also know from being the chief academic, tons of our course, maybe every course, integrates an ethical component. So we could extract it from a project management course as well as we could extract it from a variety of other ones. So these are being met in multiple ways, but there also may be a course or two a student takes that all 6 of these would maybe not be applied to at all in that particular course. That's very possible. It doesn't mean we failed. It's just we're, I don't know that there's a name for it in the literature, Dr. Hill. A matrix, or we're more of an open versus closed system as far as required courses and how they work. Conduct relevant research appropriate to project management. Again, the project management courses are going to do that. Like this group of students, 5 or 6 that I have right now in Frisco, they'll be coming on that Wednesday for the team, and they're all each doing a literature review project or research-based project with an angle on project management. And so as we dialogue about that, I think the visiting team will see that one happening in practice. Okay, thank the Lord, we're off D1. That was kind of long. Now you know why we're taking a break here in a few minutes. D2 is even longer. Everyone's like, golly, this is like one of those workout things, right? You're like, you just did the sprint on the elliptical, and they're like, you got 10 seconds, take a deep breath, we're going for the next. Okay, here we are. Curricula and core area of focus. Now we get down into a few things. For brevity, because I wasn't sure delivering this how much time it would take me, I'm not going to go to the 2 tables that I was going to pull up. I'm going to send those to you to review. You can just take a look at them. We won't have time today, but that's called the D26 table for BBA MBA. And it'll make sense by the time we get done with D2. So the Bachelor of Business Administration Project Management, it aligns with the accreditation standards that focus on the 3 areas: technical expertise, professional behavior, and strategic awareness. How do they do that? Well, here's each of the focus areas with elaboration. So it's real important that we all know how the alignment is to the core areas in D2, curricula and core area. So again, the curricula is the content, okay? So if that will help us. So number 1, technical expertise, management of projects. So here we need to meet within constraints, reference project management standards and guides. It's grounded in PMI publications, of course, PMBOK 6, and PMI standards for project management. Incorporates a study of application and knowledge areas necessary for effective integration of management enterprise projects. So scope, and again, these are the courses within the BBA, by the way, again, just like we said in the mission statement. Scope, quality, risk, schedule, cost, communication, HR, and procurement. So within that, again, as you can imagine, which we don't have time today, we broke down those various courses and their competencies to say, area number 1, technical expertise, here's how our curriculum addresses that core area in multiple ways. And then, and this was, Steve asked a question earlier, what were some of the questions that they had after our offsite review, the first pass? Well, they wanted a little bit more evidence. So, in other words, you say that you do these things in the core areas. Can you show us? Oh, we can show you. So I think the reply back to them, I think there's 6 or 7 questions. The reply back to them in the write-up, I don't remember how long. It was only a change of maybe 10 or 12 pages of narrative. The support pages was probably over 1,000 additional pages, right? Because they're like, we want to see. Hey, all we have to do is harvest it out and show you. And so after that, it was like, thank you very much. We see all the artifacts. So, and again, when they come, this will be on hand for them. They may ask you, especially the ones teaching, hey, tell us about your class right now. What are you teaching? Well, yeah, we're doing, I know Ron will tell them, we're doing the Smackdown next week. And the Smackdown, I mean, that's the most unique assignment. I love it. So, things that we're doing that address these areas, absolutely, we want to showcase them, but we have tons and tons of document support for what we're doing. Area number 2, I'm moving quicker here, and we'll take our break after D2, by the way. So professional behavior, ethical and culturally aware stakeholder engagement, communication, leadership, and teamwork. So again, it's grounded PMI PMBOK. Moving to the third point, incorporates a study and analysis of project manager's role regarding PMI talent triangle, which again is in the theory. Wow, turn the volume off on that, sorry. Incorporate the study application of project management, stakeholder management, project communication management, managing the project team knowledge areas. As you can imagine in the BBA, remember the focus, if we said the focus in the MBA is high-level dynamic leadership, execution of, etc., at the BBA level, they definitely have to have a very strong basis and be able to interface and use it in an introductory way. Does that make sense? So the BBA, it is management application focused. At the MBA, it's, think of Bloom's taxonomy now, and Dr. Hadashiel helps us and reminds us. Remember those lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy is like remember, understand, right? Some basic interface. The higher levels are create, analyze, integrate, synthesize. So that's the two differences, and the curricula too. And that should be, as the curriculum committee and other committees evaluate, and the divisions evaluate, the content and courses are constantly reviewed in that way. Number 3, strategic awareness. Now, strategy is obviously more dynamic maybe than professional practice or expertise. The strategies, there's unknown future about it, right? So how will the student in the BBA be aware of and show knowledge of strategic operation drivers to inform decisions and deliver sustained competitive advantage? Well, again, sustained competitive advantage is not an easy thing in a quickly moving environment. The curricula has to be grounded in PMI PMBOK 6 and the standards, and then incorporate study and application of modern business management publications, practices. Now this, again, there's a gen ed or common, well, we don't really use Common Core in our curriculum space now, but as Hannah knows, students have to take some accounting and finance and economics and history and government and math, and the BBA has got a pretty wide girth before they get into those upper level project management courses. So marketing, stats, law, they're going to need all those things. Now, I'm going to say this again later, but let me just point it out here, somewhat of an important item. The project management team, I remember in this room when we met on this, would have been 2 years ago, before PMBOK 6 came out, where, and this is what you guys did, I just had a little bit of oversight. but taking all of the undergrad and grad courses, BBA, MBA, bringing them up to PMBOK 6, making course name changes, adding new courses where needed, changing the competencies, that sort of continuous improvement will showcase. And not to add another brick on top of the load we're carrying, PMBOK 7's coming. It is. And so my goal, and I don't know if I'll have time on the October 9 meeting, anything I glean, I will share. Maybe not with the entire faculty, but division for sure. Because however we need to get ahead of those changes, we'll need to do it. But again, we are doing that. So all three areas are PMBOK driven. Our faculty have done an excellent job with the curricula, bringing everything up to speed. It will not change. After edition 7, a few years down the way, they'll have edition 8. We'll have to just continuously change and morph with this. Okay? Is it later next year? I think it's mid to late next year. It's not early. Not that I've read. The reason I say that, I'm going to try to take my PMP early next year before it changes, if I can. Just because I'm more familiar with it. Yeah. So, and I'm going to paraphrase here for time's sake on these. Lord, I like being thorough, but you're going to get these PowerPoints, so I'm going to let you read some of it. I might skim here. So, the BBA, outcomes and competencies, the project manager needs to be able to, and these are also on the website and in the catalog, I need to demonstrate, again, entry level. That's what we all need to repeat. So if Hadari or Monique, if they come and ask you guys or the advisors, hey, you have a prospective undergrad student, how did you distinguish between, what the BBA management or the BBA project management? Well, the project management, they're both going to be entry-level management, but project management's going to orient them in these ways, where general management's going to be this other way. How about the difference between BBA and MBA? Well, obviously, this one is going to be help them with roles and organizations, entry level. It's a predicate type degree, as most undergrads are, and the predicate gives full functionality. A person should be completely successful as a practicing project manager, but a person with a BBA, project management, going to the MBA, that's a whole other step up. So they're going to do all the things listed here. I'm moving on. The MBA, okay, I'm probably not going to read all these either. Lord, help us. I've realized I have too many words on these. It's okay. You need to know it, especially those of you who've not read or seen the entire report. This will help you. So how does the MBA align? Well, it hits all three areas. And the first area, and again, these are kind of similar to the MBA, to the BBA, in that scope, quality, risk, schedule, cost, communication, those things. The integration from PMBOK is more robust in the MBA than the BBA, and those students, again, not everyone has access to this, which is, we all have access to syllabi, we could see, we all have access to catalog, but if you actually got into and saw the work the students are doing on assignments in both programs, you'd really get a lot stronger sense of, oh, okay, this project for the BBA student or this paper or assignment is doing these things, which is very strong, very cogent. But then the MBA is even more dynamic. Remind me, guys, are we using any simulations or any real-time based stuff in there, or not necessarily? Not at the moment. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and those can be good and bad, which we don't have time to discuss now. But, professional behavior, again, the grad level takes it up a bit, and you'll notice at the last point here, and this is especially helpful for all of us as far as what's in the degree plan as curricula, ethics, conflict and resolution, practice leadership theory. So any of the MBAs are required to take those three courses in addition to the project management specific courses. They have some electives in there, but this is important. So and like Ron said, and I remember being on the team a decade ago when we built it. Those are a lot of the questions we ask. What are the things that students will need? As time marches forward, those may be modified some. There's. Yeah, so they need, of course, research and ethics, conflict resolution, and leadership theory. Leadership theory and practice, yeah. And if you look at the degree plan, which I didn't list all those here, the degree plan on the catalog or website, it shows those courses and how many electives they have. Yeah. Again, we won't pull the degree plan up. Just know that there are things within it that, curricula-wise, are there to support. Yeah, and remember, as we know, there were MBAs that preceded project management or international business or any of the other ones. So, like, there's a template that we're using that's acceptable by the regional accreditor. And please notice, regional accreditation is a prerequisite to becoming PMI GAC. So, if you're not regionally accredited or somewhere in the world with a recognized accreditor for your institution, you can't even apply. You would not be accepted. So the fact that we're SAC COC means we've met a minimum threshold. We're trying to format the way we do our courses and programs to what PMI is looking for or expecting. Good questions, though. Good questions. And again, I won't go on and on here. On strategic awareness, a student could definitely take grad courses in economics and finance and marketing. I mean, there's ways students can take things that are going to help them, depending on the aspects of project management they're in or their industry, etc. Okay. I can keep talking about it, but let's go just a bit further and we'll stop. Again, develop and achieve organizational benefit. Capstones and strategic management course, which we obviously know is there, is going to fit the strategic awareness core area 3. I mean, that's pretty obvious. These are the things that will be demonstrated in the program that are also on the website and in the catalog. We will stop here. We will take a break. I think pretty close, 11:59. Let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back to D3 through 7 and then end it out. Thank you, guys.